One love, family, wholeness, and balance. What's up? Just you here. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm having a beautiful wintry day here on the farm, and I'm just standing with one of my friends here. You know, the Pinus edulis or Pinion pine. So this wonderful tree behind me here is emblematic of the Southwest. Pine, the Pinion Juniper sort of eco zone of the high desert. So uh, these two trees dominate the landscape. I don't know if you can see back behind me back here, but all those hills in the desert back there are full of pinon and juniper and prickly pear and a whole bunch of other wonderful herbs and things that you wouldn't really expect you'd be able to find, you know, teas and medicines and foods in the desert. But, you know, food is with us everywhere, and nature is always supporting us. So just wanted to speak a little bit about pinon pine. Pinon is very well known for its delicious edible nuts, um, very protein rich. This was a staple food of indigenous people here in this area, as well as across the world. They found, that people across the world have, in places like Korea, China, Russia, the Himalayas, Pakistan, um, all used the pine nuts. And you can even gather the pine nuts from things like ponderosa pine and other pines, white pine, things. But their cones make these little papery thin nuts, whereas the pinon makes these really thick, juicy nuts. Um, so those are amazing. Um, we also have the medicine of the needles, and a cup of pine needle tea has more vitamin C and vitamin A ounce for ounce than a cup of orange juice, for instance. It's also high in terpenes, so I believe there's this whole path in terpenes. They heal the digestion, the respiration, and they're connected with neuroplasticity as well. So, this hits all of our, you know, uh, cosmic tree of our body, our root, our digestion, our respiration, our air, and our cognition. And we exchange air and, oxygen and carbon dioxide with the pine tree. So it's interesting that it has that dendritic branching of our lungs. It creates the air we breathe, and we breathe air for it. But also those terpenes, you know, are antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, and yeah, they have this action on the respiration. So you can use the pitch or of the pine and make a tea that is good for like a wet kind of goopy cough. It will dry it up and it will increase respiration. It's also antifungal, antibacterial, and those terpenes and flavonoids that are in the pinon are antioxidant and, anti-tumoral or anti-cancer cell growth. And part of it is this thing of oxygenation, that relieves the sepsis and the anaerobic conditions of cancer. So, wonderful tree, the pinon. Let's go look at juniper. One more thing I wanted to mention about pinon pine that I didn't mention before, and all pines, this is true of, uh, is that you can use the pollen cones that from the male trees, or I guess they're kind of androgynous. They have male and female parts, but the male cones that come out in the spring, you can gather the pine pollen of, and that's good for endocrine health. And it's a complete food. It's got all of the essential aminos, vitamins, minerals. It's also one of the few plant androgens, so it's kind of like plant testosterone. So if you make a tincture of the pine pollen parts, that's really good for men's health and building testosterone. But you can, men or women can use the straight pollen, and that's good for balancing endocrine health because our endocrine health has been compromised with things like atrazine and glyphosate and xenoestrogens and things that are affecting our hormones. Also, one more thing about pine is they found in studies that the tea of the needles is good for knocking off the spikes on the spike protein of COVID. So this can be very helpful preventatively from, and even if you have COVID, it can help with those with to stop sort of the uh, uh, you know replication. So just wanted to share that as well. So now I'm here with my friend the wood-seed juniper, or Juniperus monosperma. You may be able to see here some of these berries. So these berries have a significant amount of nutrients, again, vitamin C being one of those. They also are high in monoterpenes and coumarins and other flavonoids that are going to be, once again, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Also, the juniper berries are good for reducing sugar, as well as relieving, potential heart problems because of their effect on HDL and triglyceride levels. So, um, they also have an affinity for the kidney and the liver and urinary tract. So consuming these berries can be like a kidney liver cleanse, and they can stimulate that detoxification of the kidneys and the liver. So your liver is, you know, your liver and your skin are your main organs of detoxification, and as beings at the top of the food chain, we bioaccumulate more toxicity than any of the other animals or plants. Um, so it's kind of our karma that the toxicity that we put into the world, we accumulate the most, and this is what leads to the high incidence of cancer and what have you. And one of the things that is indicated in cancer is that the liver is impacted because it's processing too much chemical toxicity. So this is something you can bring in, and something I urge everyone who lives in the Southwest to nibble on these little berries. And you can also use them to flavor things like sauerkraut, or your dishes. And there's actually a Russian probiotic fermented drink. I forget the name of it, but it's made with juniper berries. So lots of ways you can play with these herbs and medicines, But as you can see now behind me here, all these trees back there, those are all Pinion and Juniper for the most part. So, they're very prolific, and what happens is the birds will eat the juniper berries, and then they crop them out, and they grow, and the Pinion uses that as a pioneer species, and the birds will drop a seed down in there, and it'll grow right out of the middle of the juniper oftentimes. So oftentimes you'll have a natural guild of juniper with a Pinion growing out, and prickly pear growing all around the base. So there you have the fruits, the tunas and the nopales of the prickly pear, which are demulcent, mucilaginous, health-producing food that's also anti-cancer, with vitamin C rich tea, nuts, and berries. So just proof that pronoia exists, that the world is conspiring in your favor and not against you. And I just love foraging and understanding the herbs and medicines all around us, because literally, I don't want to take too much of your time, but this little bush back here, that's a chinopod, that's in the quinoa family. So you can actually use those seeds. That's atriplex, or four-winged saltbush, and you can use those seeds to make. People around here used to make something called panocha, I believe is what it was called, and that was milk boiled with those seeds and honey, and I think cinnamon. But you can also eat the leaves of those, or my friend Dandelion and I took some of that and calcined it down. We burned and grind until it became almost white, and we taste it, and it's very salty. So this thing of like the cell salts, the 12 cell salts that are in our bodies and in all plants in nature, and you those cell salts can be beneficial to your body. So anyways, hope you got something from this, family. If you're living in the Southwest, go try a cup of pine needle tea or nibble a few juniper berries and experience the benefit that's all around you. All right, one love, be well. Oh, yes, we're offering a class in December, one on adaptogens and nervines to help reduce stress and embody, strength in this time. Coming December 9th, and then we're also holding a wild food pop-up the week after that on the 16th, and then on the last day of the month, the 30th, we're offering a free herbal clinic. So if you're in the area and you're dealing with some health issues and you'd like to get, take advantage of our decades of experience with herbs, please sign up and we'd be happy to serve you. So, all right, one love, wholeness.